What is the saddest song you've ever heard? That song from Up makes me cry every time and it doesn't even have lyrics. Danny Boy, at a friend's funeral 10 years ago. His sister and his GF all passed away in a house fire, all in their early 20s. It was an Irish wake and the mix of grief and whiskey joy was something else. That one Jessie sings in Toy Story 2. I Will Always Love You by Dolly Parton, you can really tell she fucking lived that song. Youth, by Daughter. Into Dust by Mazzy Star gets me edit, thanks so much for the awards. Barber's Adagio for strings doesn't even need lyrics to be the saddest piece of music I ever heard. How to Disappear Completely by Radiohead. Haunting instrumental. Depression dripping through every line of lyrics, I'm not here. This isn't happening. Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. I find that the older I get, the more meaning this song has. Jeff Buckley, Lover. You Should Have Come Over. His dad's song to the Siren belongs on this list too. Sam Stone by John Prine. There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. Alternatively, Hello in There, from the same album. You Are My Sunshine Everything, but the chorus is heartbreaking. Few people know anything but the chorus though. Cats in the Cradle just fucks me up every time. My dad is the most important person in the whole world to me. And I don't always have time to spend with him even though we live together. Because we have different work schedules. He's getting up there in age and just that song fucks me up. I can't stand listening to it. Sylvia, The Antlers. Actually that whole album, Hospice, breaks me, but this song in particular just leaves me in a mess every time. Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. Brothers in Arms gets me every time. George Jones, He Stopped Loving Her Today. Samson, Regina Spektor. Bonnie Raitt, I Can't Make You Love Me. Nutshell by Alice in Chains. Limousine by Brand New. It is about a flower girl at a wedding who was killed by a drunk driver. IRC. It has been a while since I heard it because it legit makes me too sad. The lyrics are incredibly dense and metaphorical, and the music mirrors the falling and rising emotion of the story. Such a strange, beautiful, and heartbreaking song. My 10-year-old sang Remember Me from Coco at my father's funeral. The end of that movie was already an onion cutter, but now Sugar Skulls make me ugly cry. 4th of July, Sufjan Stevens. Bjork and Tom York, I've Seen It All. From the film Dancer in the Dark. Woman is going blind and York is enticing her with all the things she hasn't seen yet. But she just dismisses each of them and says it's okay because she's seen it all. Edit for those not familiar with it. Bjork did both the soundtrack and acted in this film. It was famously traumatizing for her and she has not spoken to the director since. This song was nominated for Best Original Song at the 2001 Oscars, and Bjork arrived in a dress made to look like a swan that was created by a friend of hers amidst all the high-end Hollywood fashion. While she was made fun of for that, I like to think that it has aged well and is now seen as a beautiful dress. I have no recording of it, but I met a homeless man at the lake and became friends with him years ago. A week later there came in a giant storm and I went back and picked him up and took him home. We were roommates for almost 2 years after that. We both played guitar and he played a song for me that he had written. I can't remember what he called it anymore, but basically he described how he wrote it like this: I was engaged once. She was everything I ever wanted, but she was Mormon and it was very important to her to marry someone who shared her faith. So I molded myself in her faith while we were dating. After we had been engaged for a while, it all weighed down on me that I was a fraud. I didn't really believe it all, I just played the part and we were two different people to really make it work. So I called her and ended it, and then I sat down and wrote this. I found out yesterday. I've been wrong in so many ways, so much so that I needed to find someone to tell me if I'd ever been right, but I'd have given the last thing I owned if you could have been the one. I've asked for the answers that only come at night, and I've looked through the eyes of a man who's long since lost his sight, and I'll wait for you there at the edge of the promised land. If you care to join me there, then come and take my hand. There was much more, but that's all I can remember, sadly. It brought me to tears every single time. The raw emotion in his voice and the rasp of too many cigarettes, cheap beer, and living on the streets just made it hauntingly beautiful. I hope to see him again someday and hear him play it again. Father and Son, Cat Stevens. One of either. Me and a Gun, Tori Amos. A cappella with Amos singing about being raped at gunpoint. Based on something that actually happened to her. Margaret vs. Pauline, Necco case. Story of two women. One who has all the luck and the other who doesn't. Real death, Mount Erie. The night we met by Lord Huron. No matter where I am, if I'm happy, who I'm with, etc. I'll bawl my eyes out if that song plays. It's so painful and true, because one day they're there and they're your everything, and then they start slipping until they're gone and you wished you could go back to before you met them so you wouldn't have to go through the pain of losing them. Just the lyrics. I had all and then most of you. Some and now none of you. Hit this. People falling out of love in relationships. Growing apart with friends. Family members passing, etc. is what this hits for me, and it hits hard. Both sides now. Joni Mitchell, its use in love actually just cements it. Edit the sad parts, Modest Mouse. Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday. Edit. Thanks to all the people recommending Nina Simone's version, as well as others. All chill-inducing, and I love the conversations and knowledge in this thread. Thanks for the awards. 2. It's not a sad song as far as lyrics go, but I used to sing Here Comes the Sun to my daughter from the time she was born, even into her teenage years. It was our song, but she committed suicide at 17 and I can't even think about it or hear the first 2 chords without losing it. Elephant by Jason Isbell. Cherry Wine Hosier. The song is about domestic violence from the victim's point of view, which is sad in itself, but what's even sadder is that it still is a love song. The music video is devastating. I don't think I've ever cried that much watching something. Pictures of You. The curate's insanely heartbreaking and soul-crushing all at the same time. Father and Son, Cat Stevens. The line, "For you may still be here tomorrow, but your dreams may not," is the single most brutal line in any song. Vincent, Starry, Starry Night. Exit music for a film by Radiohead. Decades by Joy Division. This, along with the 2 other songs right before it that cap off the band's final album before lead singer Ian Curtis killed himself, feel like his suicide note doesn't scream in your face crying like some other sad songs. It feels too tired to move and accepting that he's ending it all as soon as possible. The haunting and trippy gothic vibes fit perfectly with the disco-like instrumentation. Feels too depressed to fight back and too tired to be scared that nothing will get better. Nothing has been getting better. The illusion that anything would be of your life from your childhood already had slowly crumbled away, and you're just laying down in whatever is left remaining. Ian killed himself shortly after they recorded this and before it could be released. Trapeze Swinger by Iron and Wine. Puff the Magic Dragon. I remember singing it frequently in school music lessons as a child. And the day I really listened to the lyrics, it's heartbreaking. To Build a Home, by the Cinematic Orchestra. Song just absolutely guts me. The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Brick, Ben Folds 5. At 17, Janice Ian. Adagio for Strings by Barber makes me tear up every time I hear it. Saddest song I can think of. Also Cats in Cradle tears me up. Edit, thanks for the awards. The Verve, The Drugs Don't Work. You Want It Darker. Leonard Cohen, a sample of the lyrics. They're lining up the prisoners and the guards are taking aim. I struggled with some demons. They were middle class and tame. I didn't know I had permission to murder and to maim. You Want It Darker. I'll go back a few years. He stopped loving her today. George Jones. Black, Pearl Jam. Dance with My Father, Luther Vandross. And So It Goes, Billy Joel. All I Want, Codaline. Insert Elliott Smith song, blank. Between the Bars, Elliott Smith. I Know It's Over, by The Smiths. The Show Must Go On, by Queen. The song is basically Freddie admitting he is sick and about to die, even though publicly he denied he was ill. Does anybody know what we are living for? I guess I'm learning I must be warmer now. I'll soon be turning round the corner now. Outside the dawn is breaking, but inside in the dark I'm aching to be free. As the World caves in, Matt Maltese. For me it's more of how the song makes me feel. Nutshell, Alice in Chains or Not a Country Fan but Almost Home, Craig Morgan had me in tears. 1 Drunk Night, LMAO. Hate Me by Blue October. Song kills me inside. It's basically the lead singer's song talking about his drug addiction struggles and getting his life back together. As an addict, the song was just a huge hit for me in my heart with my own recovery struggles. Landslide. Just a Song Before I Go, by Crosby, Stills and Nash. Who Wants to Live Forever? Whiskey Lullaby, Alison Krauss and Brad Paisley. Cancer by My Chemical Romance. The counting down the days just gets me. Knowing you're going to die and nothing can change that. Watching your friends and family reacting to the slow burn, but you're still here, just living as dead man for the last few days of your life. The Winner Takes It All by ABBA. Yes, it's ABBA, but the lyrics to this song are an absolutely brutal depiction of a couple going through a divorce. Bjorn and Agnetha claim it wasn't about their own divorce, but the sheer raw emotion in the way Agnetha sings this song. Punch in the Gut. You'll Be in My Heart, Phil Collins. It was popular when my first cat finally died. Rescued as a tiny feral kitten. His unconditional love saw me through some difficult times. I still think of him and cry when I hear that song. High Hopes by Pink Floyd. It's all sad, but the slide guitar solos are somehow sadder than lyrics ever could be. One More Light, Linkin Park. After Chester's death, the song became even more powerful. I can never listen to the song without feeling broken.